Welcome everybody, because this is going to be an episode on a future podcast, Dr. Sims.
Okay.
You and So with that being said, welcome everyone. Welcome to Ella Go, baby. Dr. Sims is like, this girl crazy. Okay, he knows I'm crazy. So, anyways, Dr. Sims, why don't you introduce yourself to people who are listening and watching?
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Walter Sims. I'm America's #1 person development expert. I am a pastor, a life coach, an author, a talk show host, the biggest cheerleader of Lisa DeLugo. Just love life. I play Madden football on the PS5. I play golf. I sing a little bit. Just love life. Recently divorced. I divorced last June the 22nd after 28 years. So I got a little experience in this thing called marriage. So here we are.
Okay, well, that's another discussion. Okay, Dr. Sims. All right, so let's just get to it, okay?
Okay.
So, here we're going to be talking about vulnerability versus being emotional. So, before
Right.
we get down to it, and Dr. Sims is I asked you to introduce yourself because, everyone up here in Tiki Taki land are like, what's your credentials? He's
I,
got credentials, all right? I
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I know.
so with
Right.
so with that being said, I'm gonna tell a little bit, just a really quick a snippet of my story, and then how you kind of came in. So for all of you who don't know, I do this little segment on Sundays, and it's kind of like kind of hashing it out, like a Sunday vibing, hashing it out. And I
Right.
was telling Dr. Sims and everybody that was listening about me dating somebody who was very emotional,
Right.
to the point where he cried about pretty much everything. And when I say cry, I don't mean like boo hoo. I mean like like the ugly cry.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Crocodile tears.
right. And it to the point where I was taking aback. I was like,
Right.
and
Right.
at first I was so angry with myself, as I stated to everybody listening, because I'm like, here I am, very authentic, very giving and loving and accepting, saying how I want an emotional man, and here I couldn't accept this man being emotional. And then
Right.
you came in and you said, well, first of all, you said there's a big difference between being emotional and being vulnerable.
That's right.
So and then I was like,
There you go. Amen.
so let's talk about that. Let's first define this, okay? When
Okay.
we say emotional, what do we mean?
Well, you know what? That is such an on point question because I'm helping my goddaughter and her husband that I married last year. They're going through those newlywed, new parent things right now. And she's being really emotional. And I had a great discussion with him this morning that was real eye opening. He said, thanks, Dr. Sims. My daddy and my brother said really similar to what you're saying. So we are emotional creatures. So we should be, and I'm gonna have a show tomorrow about men need to be able to vent and share their feelings and really let people know where they are and what's going on. Now, overdoing that is a whole nother thing, but being emotional to set some groundwork, being emotional is okay. Now, women are masters at this. You guys, I mean, you guys see a pretty butterfly on a sunny day and you be like, oh, that's all good. But as a man, we have been taught to keep our emotions in check almost to the other end of the spectrum. We're on the other end of the spectrum. Now you guys are here, we're here, and we're trying to find some common ground.
Okay. So what about being vulnerable? How is that different from being emotional?
Well, the biggest difference, and why that was such a revelation when I was watching your live, and I had to tell it to you, because being emotional doesn't mean that you're willing to change anything. It only means you're trying to get your way. for whatever reason. Now, we're not talking right, wrong. We're not talking being right or wrong. That's not the issue. The issue is being emotional doesn't mean that you're willing to meet me at my level of vulnerability, because as a woman or in a relationship, you want your partner to match your vulnerability. So just because I cry doesn't mean that I'm willing to peel back one of my latest hashtag Shrek. It doesn't mean that I'm willing to share my heart. You want somebody that's willing to share their heart, just not their tears.
Oh, drop the mic. Yes. And when you said that, I said to myself, I need to stop saying to the universe that I want an emotional man. I want a vulnerable man, right?
That's
I mean,
exactly
that's
right. That thing hit me.
okay.
It hit me like a ton of bricks, because just because and your daughter, and I'm sure you've seen it in your daughter, and I've seen it in my sons. When we don't get our way, we pout, we cry, we pat our foot, we throw a tantrum. But as we grow older, we kind of have to get away from that. But people are still throwing tantrums. People are still shouting and hollering that they're not getting their way. But that's not the position you want to be in when it comes to a relationship, because you're dealing with another person and you want to share life with another person. I just did a wedding on Saturday for an old coworker of mine, and I love weddings, and that's another conversation. But you want somebody that's willing to really let you know who they are and where they are, because I'm willing to invest my future with you. My emotional equity is on the line with you, and if you're not willing to match that, then we're going to have some problems.
Okay. So, with that being said, I often hear men say that they have a hard time being vulnerable.
Right.
How do they do that? How can they do that? Where do you begin?
Well, that's a powerful question. And so I think that men, the reason, and women, it's the same with women, but with a man more so, because like I said, we're on this other end of the spectrum where you shall not discuss your feelings and your emotion, because you're going to look frowned upon. What's the word today? You a simp. If you are emotional, you a simp. What in the world is that? That's another conversation. What in the world is that? All I know is that if I care about you, Lisa, I'm willing to put me on the line to let you know, number one, I care about you. And we have a hard time in these situationships letting people know, hey, I dig you. I like the way you do what you do, what you do, what you do. We fear rejection. I taught this in a class the other day. The fear of rejection is worse than the rejection itself. So men, we hate rejection because of our ego and the Mufasa that's in our Mufasa. Ooh, say his name again, Mufasa. Ooh. We're lions. And a lion does not want you to know if they have a thorn in their paw, because, see, we don't know who the mouse may be that can remove that thorn from our paw. We want to be viewed as the lion, and I have no vulnerability, but we do. We're not perfect. We're not made out of concrete. We are not the Hulk, that's running around just tearing everything up, a bull in a china shop. We have emotions. And so what a man needs to do, just be honest and finding a safe place. And women need to know this. If a man shows you that he can trust you, you cannot betray that. And you can't be going to your girlfriend, child, let me tell you what my man told me. I have confided in you. And that's why you hear most men say one of the things that's attractive about a woman and what he's looking for in a woman is a woman that he can trust. That he can lay down his
Mm.
Superman suit. He can take off his cape and lay it down at her feet, and she won't criticize him and emasculate him for being vulnerable.
Oh God, that I felt that. I felt that. And I think I hear that a lot, that men say that when they show, their vulnerability, and the women actually have said, Be a man, man up. What's up with you? What's going on?" And in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's just horrific."
Yes,
Um,
and yes, it is, because I'm gonna swerve a little bit. I'm gonna swerve just a little bit, because a lot of times when a woman or when the world says that, man up. Now, when I man up, You gonna push me back because you this independent woman. So when you tell me to man up and I flex on you and tell you to be quiet, sit down somewhere and go fix me something to eat because that's your job and that's your role, you want to look at me side eye. But you just told me to man up. And so when I man up and flex my dominance, then you gonna look some kind of, but that's another conversation.
Sure
That's another
is.
conversation.
So let me ask you this, okay? Because I still feel that men are still confused with these two words, the
Okay,
emotional part. Because I have said, because I want to give some examples, because I have said vulnerability, and they say, oh, what, that you cry all the time and all that. And I'm like, that's not what I mean.
that's right.
And
That's
so
right.
could you give an example of how a man can show his vulnerability to a woman?
Well, I'm older now, and I'm 55 now. I'll be 56 in June. And I went to the movies the other night, and I asked a young lady, "Do y'all give senior citizen discount?" And she said, "Yes, we do." And my ticket was half price. And I don't know how to feel about that. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe as we get older, we get more seasoned and more willing to be emotional because I cry at the drop of a hat now. My goddaughters tell me they love me, I'll cry. When I'm watching romantic comedies, I cried at The Notebook or The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. I love the movies where the boy gets the girl. I love sad stories make me cry. When people get hurt and all the stuff we're going through in this society, it tugs at my heart. So I think that our emotion as men is tied to our growing as men. You know what I'm saying? Just the stuff that we've been through, it softens us and it softens our heart, and we're not as dogmatic and hard like when you're young. When you're young, man, you don't care about anything, you know. But as you grow older and experience life, it tends to make you more emotional, if you will, and a little easier to be vulnerable because you know what? I'm at the age now, you know what? I don't You can talk about me all you want to. I'm at an age now, I've been there, done that, got two t-shirts, a tattoo, a cigar, and a coffee cup. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not you can talk about me all you want to. I'm not moved by that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so it emotions come with time, I believe.
Okay. So again, like if a man, so okay, so we that's the emotional part, okay? But when we say vulnerability, it again, I feel like a man is not understanding what that means. Like in a couple situation, in a
Right,
dating
right.
situation, okay? And a man wants to show vulnerability to a woman. What does that look like exactly?
Well,
What would
okay.
he say?
Okay. Okay. It could be something as simple as this. It could be something as simple as this. I forgot my wallet. Let's say you and I on a date. Not, we're on a date, and I take you out to a restaurant, and I do like this,
And I'll be
Lisa,
like, again?
Lisa. I forgot my wallet, and I left it at the hotel. And you be like, what? You left your wallet? Oh, you left your wallet? Really? And so if you try to make fun, I'm being honest. I left my wallet, and I'm gonna take care of the date. I'm old school. I'm paying for our date. That's nothing even to talk about. I'm old school, so I'm gonna pay for the date. Lisa, oh my goodness, I forgot my wallet. Now, see you, okay? And let me. I'm an engineer by vocation. 30 years as an electrical engineer at a nuclear plant. Let me give you a direct proportion, meaning my vulnerability is directly proportional to your response as a woman to my vulnerability. So if you want a man to be vulnerable, you got to respond in a way that will bring my vulnerability out. Again, back to our example, if I forgot my wallet, you can go one or two ways. Well, I don't You can go one or two ways. You can go one or two ways. You can say, I don't know what we're gonna do. Call boo boo, you supposed to be responsible for this date. You forgot your wallet, that's not my problem. Now,
Mm.
or you can be like, baby, quit tripping. I got us. It's all good. It's all good. You, baby,
Mm-hmm.
that ain't nothing to trip about. We're not gonna ruin our day because you forgot the wallet, your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
That's wifey right there. And
You
and
know,
so the whole gist of it is a man, and you can write this down and share this with your fellowship. And this is a powerful word right here. A man, and you can write this down and take it to the bank, and you can measure this against your fellowship. A man's willingness to be vulnerable is directly proportional to a woman's response to it.
I 100% agree. And I'm going to say this, and yes, I'm going to toot my own damn horn because because I feel that when you are open
That
to that as a woman, and I've had men say to me, "Why I I've had men say to me, it's so easy to let you know how I feel because I'm open to it." And there's so let me ask you this because
okay,
some women will be like, Dr. Sims, hold up. You mean to
okay.
tell me that now this is just so I'm playing devil's advocate.
That perfect,
Some
perfect.
women some women will say, "Hold up, why am I responsible for his vulnerability? Where is it? Why I'm just being vulnerable to him and I don't care how he reacts. I'm just telling you how I feel. Why am I responsible for you being vulnerable?" Dr.
Well, you
Sims.
you can you can take that to any relationship. We're just talking about men and women in relationships right now. You know what? You just got to press the I believe button. Don't know why it's like that. Don't I can't figure it out. I didn't make up the rules. All I know is what I know. That's all I know. Hey everybody. Hey Miss Michelle. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for sharing me with your fellowship this evening. Hey everybody. Hope everybody's doing all right. I'm on my live. We on Lisa's live, and we just want to say good evening. So to those
Oh,
ladies, okay, I'm gonna push you back a little bit because I'm gonna play the devil advocate to your devil advocate. Let me push you back. See, it's those women that men don't want to be bothered with. Because see, while you trying to figure out why you gotta respond to my level of vulnerability, you gonna miss your blessing because you trying to nitpick. All you gotta do, if I open up to you, don't make me feel some kind of way because that's only going to happen every now and then. And I told another one of my colleagues Friday, a man, listen, ladies, I hope y'all hear this, what I'm about to say. A man tells you what you need to know, but you guys have a hard time hearing. So
I agree.
when I share my heart with you, I tell you what you need to know. I wonder how he feel about me. If I just had the conversation with you and told you, hey, you know what? I'm feeling you. I'm feeling us. I'm digging us. So why are you gonna turn around and ask me, well, what are we gonna do? What's our relationship? What are we gonna do for tomorrow? I need to hear it. He doesn't need to tell you I want you to be my boo thing. I just told you I'm feeling you, I'm digging you, and I want you around. He just told you what you're asking for. You got to listen. Listen, Linda, Linda,
Mm-hmm.
listen, Linda. I got a new saying. I got a new saying, Lisa. Now, some of your audience might get offended by this, but see, I've been around my audience a long time. They don't get offended as easily. It's called the hush anointing. Men and women need to learn how to. Y'all talk too much. Y'all talk entirely too much, and you miss stuff because you're busy talking. A man, when he
Mm-hmm.
opens his heart, you need to be listening. Since y'all say we don't talk much anyway, the few words that come out of our mouth, you need to listen. And that comes with time and spending time with each other. But a lot of times our society has made men the bad guy when it comes to relationships. We need love too. We're going to be talking about this on my show tomorrow. But we need love too, Lisa.
Do you?
I'm going to get you, Lisa. Wait till this live is over.
I
I'm going to get you.
listen. Here, you already got me. Okay, you got me good. Okay, so, anyways, I'm thinking this, Dr. Sims. Okay, so I'm almost thinking that, and I get what you're saying, and I think that for the women who are questioning this and saying, why does that matter how I am? I mean, could it be because men are just not taught? I mean, men are not taught how to go about sharing your emotions, telling somebody how they feel. You fall down, get back up. You got this. Get back up. Nobody is like telling you it's okay, honey.
That's
Like how
right.
they do with women.
That's
Women are
right.
it's easy for us show you our vulnerability and our emotions, and it's a little bit harder so that when you do it, it is a defining moment
You
because
know,
that's a big deal.
and I would be, for the lack of a better word, and the younger audience would get this, what I'm about to say. Somebody like me, I'm a unicorn. And so you may say, Dr. Sam, how are you a unicorn? I know how to articulate. I'm an author. I love words. I'm a logophilia. I love words. So it's easy for me to articulate how I feel because I love words and I don't mind sharing. And so I tell a lot of ladies, don't look at me as the rule. I'm the exception because, I'm a talk. I talked to goldfish when I was in the first grade, and that's been a long time ago. I got in trouble. I had good grades, except I made seasoned conduct because I talked all the time. I talk. It's what I do. I get paid to talk. Most men, 99% of men are not like me, not like you. I talk. You talk. Most men are only going to talk a little bit. But when they speak, you ought to be listening. Back in the day, old school, I'm 55. Back in the day, men, black men especially, they didn't talk much. But when they spoke, the whole house got quiet. Mama, listen. She didn't give him no back talk. Ask your grandmama. She didn't back talk. She just said, your daddy said. Now he may not have been the best man nowhere, but when he said something, everybody listened. Now, this generation, we minimize what men say. And that's why men really don't talk a lot because we don't value what men say today. This generation, this feministic generation, this generation was Superwoman and Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman. We don't value what men say. And maybe that's another conversation. We don't value what us men folks say. So men are like, you know what? I'm not going to say much because you don't want to hear it anyway. So women
Mm-hmm.
have to be willing to calm down and simply listen. Y'all ask us to listen, and so we're going to put the ball back in y'all court. Y'all need to listen to what the brothers are saying.
I hear you. I just wish they would talk. But with that being said, I'm just saying, okay, because
Amen.
listen, I'm here, I'm a vessel, I'm open to it. I ask you questions, and then when I hear nothing, I'm like,
Amen.
okay,
And it
I'm
takes
giving
time.
you the platform, people. I'm
I
giving you the
understand.
stage. I'm actively listening, and you ain't talking and giving that opportunity. And I get it that it takes time to open up
That's
because I
right.
I see that, I feel that. I think for men, for me, because I'm so open with who I am and I'm comfortable sharing who I am. I think that when I start asking these questions, they are taken a bit back, and
True.
it is a
That's
little
true.
hard for
That's
them.
true.
So even though if I'm meeting someone for the first time, so for those women who are listening,
Right.
if I'm meeting a man, if you're a lot like me and you're meeting a man for the first time, my advice is to give it a couple more dates for him
That's
to
right.
feel comfortable to share how he feels.
That's
So
right.
with that, I just want to share a couple of things that I'm seeing here, and Dr. Sims, you can share after if you're seeing any questions.
Okay.
So some of the things that I have here is
Okay.
I wish I knew the words to say, but he's saying everything that I've been feeling for a while.
Oh wow. Who said that?
This
Oh
is
wow.
Oren. This is see, Dr. Sims, you needed. You're doing the work. And someone said, as long as she doesn't belittle him, which I can respect and understand that. I think people mix up weakness with emotion slash vulnerability. Yes.
That's
Big
thousand
time,
percent correct.
yes.
That's a thousand
Yep.
percent correct.
Yup. To know we are vulnerable is courageous because nobody is invulnerable.
That's
Oh my
good.
God.
That's good.
Wow. Daniel, so good. We only tell you what's necessary.
Mission
uh,
impossible.
as I was always told that men do not have time to hurt, walk it off, put some ice on it, and chill out.
Put some dirt
Oh
on it. Yeah, that's
God.
true. That's true. That's
Uh,
true.
so, sometimes we can't get a word in. That is true. So yes, that's what I got. What about you, Dr. Sims? Do you have any? Do you have mostly women saying anything or men saying? These are all
Well,
men,
I
by the
just
way, that are saying this.
on my live, I got Michelle, who's the mother of the young man that's gonna be on tomorrow. She just laughing and cracking up. She's been with me since my Periscope days. I started live streaming on Periscope years ago, and I still have some faithful followers following, and she just high fiving. So she just loves me. She's a good friend of mine. Another thing, real quickly, another thing. Um, we again when you're going on dates and you just dating for the first time and this is our first date, don't make it seem like an interview because I've heard women say that and men say that. Don't make it seem like this is an interview and you just jump right in and say, okay, what's your view on children and raising children, and do you mind moving into a 3-story house, and do you want to move on the lake or the water, or do you want to move somewhere hot or cold, you want to go to Florida, California? Come, men don't like to feel that kind of pressure. We just want to enjoy the day. Let's just have a good time. Let's just enjoy this lobster steak dinner, or we going to Waffle House, this waffle and grits. Let's just slow it down. Just relax. Just breathe. Breathe. And hopefully you spent some time kind of talking before the first date, but just relax. It's not a job interview. Have a good time with each other. Just enjoy each other's time.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I get uncomfortable with silence.
Oh,
Okay.
understand. Okay,
Okay. I
okay,
get I get
okay.
uncomfortable with it. I'm just like, you know? So for me, this is how I know when someone is for me. When I don't feel that I even have to, it's just so natural. The
Amen.
talking is so natural. It's not an interview. We're just talking. Hey, oh my God, did you just see that?
I,
Oh yeah. And then it goes boom, 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 boom,
it's
boom.
natural.
But
It's natural.
right. But then when I meet somebody where it's like silence and I'm like, okay, and then I get in my interview mode and I hate that. But it's
Right,
like, I'm just so, what do you do? So do you, oh, I mean, it's just so uncomfortable. And that's something that I'm still struggling with, especially
right,
when you meet somebody that is like crickets,
right. And
that,
so
that
and
don't
so
say much.
to your women, to your followership, if you're coaching women on this whole dating thing, and what I'm hearing one of your core beliefs are, and because what I do with relationship singles when they come to me for relationship coaching, make a list of negotiables and non-negotiables. And one of your
Mm,
non-negotiables is I want a man that's going to spend X number of time with me. I want a man, and you've modified. I want a man that's willing to be open, vulnerable, and communicative. I want somebody that's easy to talk to. That's one of your core beliefs. So going forward, and share this with your women. Going forward, do not entertain somebody that's not willing to share their heart, to open up, to talk to you. And again, it takes time, but that's one of your core beliefs. Now they can fake it on the questionnaire. Are you willing to talk to me over dinner? Oh, yes, I will. But if you get to Red Lobster and they just sit there buttering the cheddar biscuit and not saying nothing, check please. You got your answer. So what you got to put on your questionnaire and your form is that I want a man. Tell the universe I want a man in the very near future that's able to talk to me, and it's not hard. It's not like pulling teeth. I want somebody, hey, laugh with and cut up with. But again, it goes back to being, spending time with one another.
I love that you just said that. And I never thought about that because that is a non negotiable.
It's a
That is the,
non-negotiable.
if you can stimulate my brain in conversation, you got me.
Ex-
That's it.
that's part of your love language, affirmation. You know what I'm saying? It's part of your love language. And I want somebody that can go back and forth with me. You know what I'm saying? But again, that man is out there, and you're looking for him. And again, that's part of your questionnaire on your job application on your Indeed.com. A man who is going to get my attention has to be able to communicate with me.
I love that. Non-nego. So make a list and talk. Okay, so I like the whole idea of thinking about this and making a list of the things that are negotiable, non-negotiable. Someone said love language is very important.
That's
I
right.
totally agree. I just going a little bit diverting with the love languages because you just mentioned it.
Right.
I didn't learn about this until like maybe within a year or so. I didn't even
Amen.
know about love
Amen.
languages, right?
Amen.
And it made sense, Dr. Sims, because my ex husband thought giving me gifts was what I wanted. And that is not what I like. I could care less about the gifts you give me. My love language is acts of service. Acts of service. You do something for me like that's a special. I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
God. This
And we never
I've
and see, and we never take time, and that's part of what I do with my premarital coaching with the couple. I have a workbook now, and I go through that with couples, and that's part of our coaching is that you got to figure that out because again, you see how opposed y'all were. He thought he was doing good. He thought he would buy you something. He said he would buy you the latest and greatest electronic, and he'll bring home all happy. Lisa, 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 guess what I bought you? And you'd be like, okay. Okay, and you shut him down. And unbeknownst to you, you shut him
Yes.
down. You shut him down because
Yes.
you're like, but if he had filled up your gas tank, baby, I went to Chevron and I got you
Yes.
premium. You usually use 87 octane, but I got you 93. I filled it up for you and I got a free car wash. And he just wiggle off to the kitchen. You'd be like,
Listen, I would shed a tear, okay? Like
yeah, that's your love
I
language.
had some I had someone put a fire pit together for me and I literally shed a tear.
You be like,
I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just did that for me." And they're like, I just put this fire pit together. What are you talking about?" I'm like,
And my
"So
love and my love language, if you praise me and you affirm me and you said, Dr. Sims, you did that interview. See, that's my love language.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so going back to the vulnerability and emotional, how can I know we kind of touched upon this just a little bit, but how can someone start being vulnerable, especially the men? Like, what are the baby steps? Like, if a guy says, you know what, I listened to Dr. Sims and Lisa
Right.
talking, and I think I'm gonna try this. I have a hard time expressing
Okay.
myself. I got this girl, and I've just been seeing her for a couple weeks, and I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
How would you tell them to go about it?
That's such a great question. And to those young men and to those men, do what I just said a few moments ago. Be honest and tell her, sit her down. And I'm telling you guys, you will get some distance with what I'm about to tell you. If you take this young lady and sit her down and say, baby, I got something I want to tell you. I just listened to Lisa and Dr. Sam. She'd be like, who is that, baby? That's never mind. They on TikTok. But baby, what I'm gonna start doing when something comes up and I'm feeling a certain way about something, I'm gonna share it with you. And I'm gonna ask you, don't judge me or anything, but what I'm gonna try because you've been asking me to do this, and I heard them tonight. I finally heard what you said. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna share with you. Now I'm not gonna be on Dr. Sam level yet, but if something bothers me, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about it because what I do with my couples is I have what we call a no judgment zone. And in that no
Mm,
judgment zone for 30 minutes or an hour, we're going to sit down and be honest with each other. Baby, I love that meal you made the other night, but you know what? You could have used just a little bit more garlic salt. Well, okay, baby, I hear you, but I'm trying to look out for your blood pressure. Baby, I know, but that dish the other night need a little bit more garlic salt. Okay, well, but no, you got high blood pressure. Yes, ma'am, I know, but it could have used more garlic. And she be like, baby, the other day, you did not refill the toilet paper. And that bothered me because I had to go and look for toilet paper and put that on myself. if you use the last piece of toilet paper, will you refill the roll, baby? You're right. I wasn't thinking. Me and Dr. Sam, we were watching football and we were talking about the Cowboys, and I forgot. I hear you. And so if we get baby steps, and then if you're not in a relationship, get your journal. Get you a journal, and when something bothers you, say you watch Lisa, and Lisa hit a nerve, and Lisa got on your nerve. 'Cause Lisa always talking about men, 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 men. Talk, 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 talk. Write yourself a little note. Write a note. Write a note. Get your journal. Say, I'm becoming a more vulnerable man due to Dr. Sims. And start writing it down. And what I want to offer your fellowship and my fellowship, the first person that emails me at drsims at drwaltersims.com, say, I saw you on Lisa's TikTok, I give them a 30-minute consultation.
Wow. Did you just hear what he just said, guys?
And that value is $500.
Repeat what you just said, because I'm not sure these men are listening. Because by the way, there's mostly men on my that's listening on my
Okay.
tiki-talkie,
If
as
you
usual.
I know, right? If you email me, Dr. Sims, DRSIMS at drwaltersims.com, if you're the first person to email me, I'll give you a 30-minute consultation with me on the house just because you love Lisa like I do. Just because you follow Lisa and you adore her like I do. I'm her biggest cheerleader. We ought to get some t-shirts and say, I love Lisa DeLugo.
Oh God, don't say that. There's a lot of crazy people on here. I don't need any stalkers. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sims. Damn. Merch.
As I
Someone
was
said
saying,
merch.
we got a Lisa DeLugo fan club, and all you got to do, I'm the president. But thank you
Damn.
again. Thank you for allowing me to share with you. I believe you're a beautiful
Yes.
person, and thank you for what you're doing. Just kudos to you, and I really appreciate you.
Well, Dr. Sims, thank you so much for being on here and spending some time with us. Where can people find you? Obviously, on TikTok, you are known as Dr. Walter Sims.
That's
And
right,
then you're also on Instagram as
Dr. Walter Sims.
anywhere else as Dr. Walter
Yeah,
Sims.
I got a YouTube channel. Just go to drwaltersims.tv. I have a link tree as well that lists everything and everywhere I am. So go to linktr.ee/ Dr. Walter Sims and all my info will pop up. And if you forget all of that, just Google Dr. Walter Sims. I'm Googleicious now. Just Google Dr. Walter Sims and all my stuff will pop up.
And I was on his show twice, right? I
Yes,
could see
ma'am. And
that
it's going to be a
episode.
third time because we got to bring you back and we got to talk about this. So I want you on. Um, we'll talk about it offline, but I want you back so we can talk about what we talked about, and we'll talk about just the response to it, and we'll talk about where do we go from here. You know, men and women talking, and we'll bring you back, Lisa DeLugo Part 3.
We keep it real.
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, first of all, Dr. Sims, thank you so much for being a part of this. I want to thank everybody who joined us and listened. And if you have any questions, DM Dr. Sims, email him. He just said it that he's willing to give you a consultation, and he's the real deal, guys. Okay,
Thank you,
Dr.
Lisa.
Walter Sims. Hello. Okay. So with that, Dr. Sims, thank you. Have an amazing evening, and we talk.
All right.
All right. Bye, Dr. Sim.